evening and welcome to Cavan TV's News and Views. Thanks to Cyril for the use of the broadband and to Positive Age for the use of the studio here in Drummondlea, Cavan. This evening I'm going to start with a song.
At the bottom of the sea, I see sailors, a dozen men. I see mermaids and their kin. At the bottom of the sea, and the wreck that is me. At the bottom of the sea, for all eternity. At the shoreline there's a tree, cut it down just for me. Carve a box, treasure chest, tear my heart out, lay it to rest. At the bottom of the sea, with the sailors, a dozen men, and the mermaids with their kin. At the bottom of the sea, with the wreck that is me. At the bottom of the sea, for all eternity. Fall into the
Fantastic, and welcome to the studio this evening, singer-songwriter from Baileybury in Cavan, Elena Duff. Elena!
Thank you very much for having me.
Elena, thank you so much. What a quality you have to your voice.
Thank you. Would you believe that I didn't think I could sing for years? I only took up music in my middle age because I used to
Like what age is middle age now?
in my 40s.
Go away.
Yeah, so I used to sing along to songs on the radio, and because a lot of modern day pop songs are in a very high register and I have a very low alto voice.
You have a honey voice.
I was like, well, I can't sing. I didn't understand about different keys, singing different keys and changing the keys of songs until I took up ukulele as a hobby.
Now, did you not go to choir?
I did go to choir,
But you would have been an alto singer.
I was an alto singer in the choir, and it was already done for me. I guess I just never put two and two together.
Well, Elena, I'm amazed you didn't think the singing thing hit you, because like you have a unique quality to your voice.
Thank
you have
you.
a lovely lovely unique quality. Not every loads of people can sing, but you have to have a nice quality to your voice as well. Singer-songwriter. Oh my goodness, that amazes me. Singer-songwriter.
Well, I very quickly, I took up the ukulele as a hobby, as a lot of people are doing these days, and it's taught a lot in school these days. And for the first time, I was like, because I had been trying to play guitar, and I was trying to learn classical guitar when I was 17, and I got really stuck with, reading music notation, particularly for guitar. It's much more difficult than it is for piano. And I kind of, again, thought, I'm not the best guitarist. So when I picked up the ukulele, I was like, I can sing, I can play these cover songs. So very soon after that, I got a little bit bored playing other people's songs, and I started writing my own songs, and then it took off from there. Then I graduated onto guitar, and then I went and I did a course in audio engineering, and now I'm recording and mixing and mastering my own songs. So,
and we're going to get to that in a second, but I just want to bring you back a little bit further, back before the middle age there. You are an artist.
Yeah, I studied fine art and art history in NCAD in Dublin. So for years I worked as a visual artist. I've exhibited.
We hear that term a lot, visual artist. Please explain.
Well, I've noticed since I've taken up music that people will go, I'm an artist, and they mean musical artist, or I'm an artist and they mean actor or actress. To me, artist means visual artist, but I now put the word visual in front of it to clarify for people.
You mean you see what you produce, they can see.
Exactly. So basically, a visual artist is a painter or a sculptor, basically, or a drawer, if that's a word, a drawer.
Yeah, so the right side of your brain, is it the right side for art, the right side of your brain, or is it the left side?
I'm not sure, but whatever side it is.
It's very active.
It's very active because I'm not very good at maths and on the other side of the brain.
So just to get back to your art there, we were speaking beforehand and you said that you got very much in the retro design of bars and pubs and things like that. That was interesting in Dublin for many years.
Yeah, I spent 10 years working as a mural artist and painting all those kind of, nicotine effects to make the pubs look as if they're really old, and fake marble and fake wood and stuff, back when there was a big boom in these big super pubs where they'd have 20 rooms. So it was great. I did that for 10 years and then the whole thing died down a bit. Minimalism came in.
Yeah. Clean lines.
That's it. Yeah.
So, and of course now, bars are just getting up and going again after COVID. So and the art design. But now to get back to your music, singer-songwriter, I saw you on the weekend. You had an open air gig at the weekend.
That's right.
It was a great initiative, the Cavan Country Market. What is it, the Cavan Country Market?
It's the Cavan.
Done under Drum.
That's right. Drameen Creatives was who I was there under the auspices with. Yeah. We did it in collaboration with the Cavan Market. And Drameen is like a collaborative group of artists, writers, dancers, poets, musicians.
All under one roof.
All under one roof. And the aim is to try and put on events to kind of, get more of the creatives in Cavan, give them a bit of a showcase. And
I was speaking there earlier to Bob Gilbert, and speaking of music, and he was talking about, Cavan Older People's Association getting people to do things and making their dreams come true. Under Drameen, and that is giving people a chance to get out there and maybe giving them the confidence to do their stuff.
Well, that's the aim, really. There's so much talent in this county of all ages.
We're saying that all the time, but there is.
And I think if you join together and mobilise as a group, it does make it easier for, to get funding or to get an audience in. There's strength in numbers.
Yeah. And it gives people... what I would be thinking is, okay, I'm not good enough to sing on my own, to head out and hold a stage on my own, but I could sing in a group. People would like to do that, meet like-minded people.
Exactly. So, the ukulele is actually a very good instrument for that. There's a lovely community across Ireland and indeed the world for the ukulele. It's very much an instrument where I think nobody really cares if you can play it well or if you play it badly, if you sing well or sing badly, which makes it just a very...
4 strings. We shouldn't run it down just because 4 strings have to be played well. There are 4 strings on it, so you have to have nice dainty fingers as well.
Yeah, I suppose so. You do and you don't. I think, compared to a guitar, it's a little bit smaller. I think it's easier for people with arthritic hands, for instance, to play that as opposed to a bigger, more kind of hefty guitar.
So go back to your music, where most of us learned music in school, probably went through the piano lessons, out the door to piano lessons. Did you go through that?
I didn't. In my secondary school, I went to, I'm a dub who's a blow-in here to Cavan and Bailey Borough. And I went to Santa Sabina High School in North County Dublin. And for the Leaving Cert, we had to choose between different subjects to study, and the choice was between music and art, and I wanted to do both, and I chose the art, so I never got to do the music. And then I went and I did guitar lessons for a couple of years, but as I said, the focus was more on classical guitar, so I never felt very good at strumming or rhythm guitar or more pop guitar, and I'd pick it up every few years and try again and go, I really like this, but again, it just didn't have the confidence, and literally getting used to playing this and feeling a bit confident on this led me to feel more confident with the guitar as well.
Anybody else? Is there music in your family? Usual retro or classical?
Oh yeah, there is. My grandmother and my grandfather were very musical back in the 1920s in Dublin, and they would have parties, and he would play lots of wonderful classical music, and apparently he also played a ukulele. We found out in recent years, because that was the era for it. And my grandmother would play more jaunty, she'd play rags and stuff, more upbeat, kind of fun songs of the era. And my aunt was very musical as well. She played the piano.
Yeah, so there's music in your family.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Now, when it gets back to being a singer, what kind of gigs do you like? Do you like being a singer-songwriter? You like the intimate gigs where you can share your story?
Yeah, ideally. when I took the ukulele up, I joined a band called the Dublin Ukulele Collective, and we ended up playing a load of big festivals all around Ireland.
That must have been mighty crack.
It was such good fun, but one minute I was like playing away on my own at home, and the next minute you're on a big stage with like loads of people screaming and shouting. So it was a bit like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? But that was really, really, really good fun. But I think it is, as you said, very different when you're going out on your own because, and it's much more nerve-wracking. You're there with no backup, and if you make a mistake or your voice cracks.
You were there last Saturday, and my goodness, you were great. And they were all
thank you.
Who is she? She's a great. Who is she?
I think it's quite difficult. I think if you're playing your own music, and because I haven't finished recording my album yet, which I'm in the process of doing.
You have a couple of CDs there. We might see some of your photos on the CD.
That's right.
On your single, I should say.
Singles, yeah. I've released
about that. Yeah.
I've released a few singles as a little testing ground of my first few songs. So the first single I released, it was called Sailing on the Sea of Love. And it's on a different kind of ukulele, which is a baritone ukulele. It sounds a little bit lower in tone. Yeah. And it's a nice swishy love song. And unfortunately...
It's tuned differently.
It is. It's tuned a little bit like a guitar.
That's good to be able to play all those. That's multi-instrument.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I tell you now, I've ended up buying a keyboard.
There you go. Look at there. Tell us about that. There you go. That's a little soprano ukulele.
That is a soprano ukulele. This is what gave me a huge amount of confidence when I first started, because I had a friend in America who kept saying, please put up some YouTube videos of you singing. Please.
Of course, yeah.
And at first I was, oh God, I don't want anybody to hear me. And I was like this. And then I thought, sure, nobody's going to, like, people are shouting from the rooftops trying to get themselves heard and nobody wants to listen. So I thought, who's going to find me? So I started putting some videos up. And that photo that you saw there of me with that different ukulele to this.
Well,
this is a little soprano as well. But the other one in this photo was actually, it was a South Korean ukulele manufacturer caught one of my YouTube videos and messaged me and said, would you like endorse our brand and we will send you a ukulele. So that was a huge confidence boost for somebody who was kind of just starting out.
Ukuleles have just hit the ground running, really, haven't they?
They have, really. They have. They've got very incredibly popular. So, yeah, I mean, I think particularly if you're playing such a tiny instrument as this on your own in a venue, to get back to your question.
You need a good sound.
You need a good sound, and also it's very nerve-wracking, you know, when you haven't got the backing of a band. And I think as well, if you haven't got a lot of known songs out there, trying to get people to listen to new music, people want songs they know, which is understandable. So, it can be hard to break past that barrier.
If it's any good to you, the sound of the ukulele on its own with you singing is enough to make people listen.
Well, thank you. That's very good to know.
I noticed that the other day now. That's, a singer and a guitar, unless you're brilliant, we've all heard that before, but the ukulele sound is good. Especially when you play it as well as you do.
Well, that's very good to know. I will definitely bear that in mind because I was a little bit worried about that, I'll tell you.
Don't be worried at all. The sound is good on the day. So to get back to your songwriting now, are you working on anything at the moment? Are you going to do a CD or you have to do a CD?
I am definitely doing a CD. I went off and I did my course in audio engineering because I had started messing a little bit with music production, which is basically the computer and recording all the sounds into the computer and then manipulating it and making some louder and, basically.
There's Audacity as one of that's
exactly
for radio.
That's right, exactly. So I started getting into that and really enjoying it, and I thought,
it's an art in itself, really.
It is really, and I thought I want to produce my own album, and that way I can do 10 million takes and not have somebody in the studio pulling their hair out and have it sound exactly the way I want.
So now, to get back to tell me how do you write a song? Go on. Do you start with the melody first, or do you start with the idea? Do you put the two together? Do you play a tune, get a riff on the guitar? What way does it go?
All of the above. Sometimes my best ideas, I know a lot of people say the shower, but my best ideas come driving in the car. So I will always have my phone with the little phone recorder ready, and I pull in and I go la 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 into the phone. And so I come home sometimes and I think that's terrible because, when you hear the cars driving by. Other times I sit at home and I'm like, oh, that sounds nice. Oh, that sounds really nice. And then I start la la da 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 da. And
you go with the tune first.
That's it. Yeah. And then I have the tune, and then I think famously, the Beatles, for instance, had, wasn't it, scrambled eggs? Oh, how lovely legs you have, instead of Let It Be, or one of their famous songs. So I do a little bit of that as well.
Paul McCartney was 80 the other day, on the 18th of June, he was 80.
Well, he's a musical genius, isn't he? Yeah.
So there you go, there's hope for you yet, don't worry.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you about another lady. I went to see her in the town hall a few weeks ago, Peggy Seger.
Oh, yes.
She was married to Ewan McCall before he passed away. She'd be the stepmother of Kirsten McCall. And that lady is born in 1985. What that age make her, I don't know. She's 86 or something. That lady can play the piano. She sang with her son. She played the banjo, tenor banjo. No, the soprano banjo, the really long one, the high one. And played the guitar, and she sang harmony. And my goodness, what that lady couldn't do. And her mind was as crisp as anything. I knew the words of every song. Keyboards filled in. He's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, and the same with Bob Geldof when he was talking about older people. Age should not be a thing anymore.
I think age is only relevant for record labels who are trying to sell music to youth. Nobody else cares. Yeah. Because it was, I felt, maybe, I'm not 17 or 18 now. I'm not even 20. But actually, nobody cares. And actually, none of the 17 or 18-year-olds cares. I had a lovely message from a young 18-year-old traditional Irish banjo player on one of my social media accounts saying, you have a lovely voice and I love your music and please record this song. So even the young ones don't care.
But listen, to get back to Peggy Seger, because my jaw was on the ground for many days, what she had to offer from her life was amazing. 17-year-olds can't do that. Ha, ha, ha. They can't do that, but they will someday. Anyway, go back to telling the song. You've got your guitar as well.
I do, indeed.
Will you sing something? Will you sing another of your songs?
I will.
I'll hold your ukulele.
I'll give you my ukulele.
Yeah. What's this one now, Elena?
This one is called Essence of Love. And I wrote it about an imaginary, wonderful holiday with somebody that you love and all the nice things you see and hear. Yeah. So I'll play a little bit of it. Balcony and you're smiling down at me and I love you and you love me and we're staring at the deep blue sea and your arms wrapped right around me and I love you and you love me. Ooh, that's what love feels like. Kicking dust up with our feet and I love you and you love me and we're sitting in a cafe now and watching people passing and I love you and you love me. Ooh, that's what love feels like. Fabulous. Nice play on chords there. If you were to describe your style, apart from being, your own style, how would you describe your style? Well, I don't know if you've heard of a singer from Oldcastle called Gillian Chute. She's had a lot of radio play and she's sung with Eurovision winner Charlie McGettigan. They did a single together. So I'm a friend of hers and I messaged her one night and I said, Gillian, I don't know what genre I am. What do you think? So she sent back a screenshot with indie folk with a whole list of bands underneath it from Google. So I suppose there is that folky element to things, but it's also
blues. Is there blues in there?
I think there's a few torch songy, jazzy elements, Billie Holiday-ish kind of stuff in there. So it's a little blend of everything. And of course, then when I'm at home in my studio, then there's more kind of pop elements come in because I use like electronic drums and stuff. So there's a bit of a mishmash, to be honest.
Okay, so COVID was a pretty mean time to artists, all kind of artists, visual artists, literary artists, any kind of an artist, singers, songwriters, anybody who drew an audience. Wow, that was the end of the line there for 2 years. So how do you feel it is getting? Is it getting back together? Is it coming as quickly as you thought? Well, what's your take on it?
For me, it's not coming as quickly as I thought. And, again, because I started the music kind of late after a visual art career, I was just about to burst forth, shall we say, when COVID hit. So I'm kind of trying to play catch up on things. And I have noticed now, gigs mightn't be that where you saw me up in Cavan Town. That was outside, lovely sunny weekend. People feel safe. There's lots of space. But I think a lot of people are still nervous to go indoors to venues these days. I think, covers bands, so like wedding bands are back 100%. But I see online a lot of social media, a lot of other singer-songwriters are still,
What would be your ideal gig now if you got the gigs? Like, where would you like to do?
Folky
clubs or something.
I would.
The town hall.
That's it.
An intimate audience kind of.
That would be lovely. The town hall would be lovely up in Cavan or in the Cavan County Museum. Although I tell a lie now, I did. I played on Culture Night at the Cavan County Museum outside as the evening was falling and twilight and the birds were singing, and it was just beautiful. So that was last September. That was lovely. So, Cavan County Museum and similar locations. There's wonderful locations all around the country for various gigs.
One other little question. Do you think, they're making it a living wage kind of a salary now for artists?
That's right, the universal basic income. Yeah.
Did you apply for that?
I did apply for that.
There's a lot of people in for it. But do you think, my question is, bottom line, and ask Heather Humphreys, but Heather's doing well. But anyway, do you think, actually, are they doing enough for artists?
Well, I think a lot of other people who aren't artists would say they're doing too much. All I've heard is complaints from everybody else who isn't creative saying, why are artists getting this? And it's not fair. And I do this and I don't get anything.
You're only as good as your last gig when you're an artist.
And I think there's this perception that it's like a hobby and everybody's just messing around. But I think the problem is that if you're working in a full-time job, say you have children as well as that full-time job and a partner, like, can you imagine coming home and commuting 2 hours to get home and then turning around and start writing songs, sometime after you've put the kids to bed and like clean the house or whatever? Like, it's very difficult. Like, if you want quality cultural products in a country, you have to support those artists. And I think every other country in Europe, in Sweden, they already give a huge amount of money to people who've graduated from art college, for example. I think they give them like a living wage for 7 years after they finish art college to give them a leg up so that they can make it in that kind of vulnerable time so that they're not straight into a full-time job and not being able to have time to do what they've studied,
I think, Elena, we've got some images of your art. You very kindly emailed some images of your art as well. If Brian's able to bring it up there and you'll tell us about that. I'm kind of jumping around now, but I just want to make sure we get everything in.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going from. Now, tell us about that.
Well, I tell you, one of my problems, I don't know if it is a problem, I'd say a lot of artists have this problem, is that I love experimenting. So I've gone through, Picasso had his blue phase and his pink phase and all of this. I've gone through so many phases you wouldn't believe. So I've done sculptures, I've done more graphic-y style paintings, I've done, the most recent ones were seascapes. I did a whole series of seascape paintings. So that's probably what you're going to see on scene.
That's you now. It looks like a ship on your head. But
that's right. That was the cover. I wrote a sea shanty, which I sang a cappella, and people liked it. So I made a single out of it, and I'd seen images online of these beautiful haute couture millinery hats more fancy than this. And I was determined I was going to make a ship hat for this cover. So yeah, that's tracing paper and some cardboard, and I used the image on the cover of my single for my sea shanty.
Well done. You are an artist in every sense of the word. You are an artist in every sense of the word. Now, just for your future plans, and and tell the folk out there as well where to find you, where they can look at your stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm online everywhere under Elena Duff, ELENADUFF for Freddie.
The Y.
That's right, without the Y. Think of Damien Duff, isn't that the name of the footballer? Yeah. Or Elena Duff Music. Usually all my social media is Elena Duff Music. So, and it's elenaduff.com is my website. So that's where you can find me. And I have both my music and my art on the website.
Great. Throw it out there, Elena. Do you sing at weddings? Do you sing at funerals? If people ask you, I'm sure
I would adore to sing at weddings and funerals, yeah. For sure. Well, that's probably wording it wrongly. I would adore to sing at somebody's funeral, but I would be honoured if somebody wanted me to sing at a funeral.
You can do. Yeah. So, and again, they can get to you on Elena Duff Music.
That's right. Yeah. There's a contact form on the website, and all those emails go straight into my email, and I see them all. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for coming into the studio and talking to us this evening. I was really taken by you the other day and your talent. And the sound of your voice is wonderful. Now, do you want to end up on another little song?
There's a very slow song, so I'll just sing you a couple of verses of it, and it's a heartbroken love song.
Oh, go.
You were my one. Shining sun, and I'm a falling star. You were my moon, my light in the infinite gloom, and I'm a falling star.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching Cavan TV and you have been listening to fantastic Elena Duff. Thank you so much, Elena.
Thank you for having me. Thanks, Sonia.
Thank you. That's it from Cavan TV this evening, folks, and do take care.